David, you're here, only 24 hours?
That's right.
Okay, wow, that's a very short trip. However, that doesn't signal the small opportunity in Asia? There's a big opportunity here in Asia, right? You're here quite often looking at...
I typically come here 6 to 8 times a year, but we have a large team here. We've been investing in Asia since 1997. And we've invested about $17 billion of equity since 1997 in about 210 transactions. So it's been a very important business for us, and it should be. Asia has 60% of the world's population, and now about 30-some% of the world's GDP, but rising to about 40% in about 10 years or so. So this is where most of the growth in the world is really going to be, and this is where firms like ours should be.
Right, and you said, as you mentioned, you've been here since '97, so it's been about 20 years or so. That's right. But has it picked up to you, in your view, in the last few years?
Well, when I came here in '97, the only places you could really do private equity, and you could only do minority stake deals, were typically Hong Kong, maybe Singapore, maybe Taiwan, some in Korea. There was no China, and there was very little in India. Now China has opened up. We've done 90 transactions in China, invested $7 billion. But you couldn't do that in '97. It really happened about 10 years ago. Okay,
so what is interesting to you right now? Like, what are the areas that you're seeing the most growth?
In Asia, we are most focused on China and India, though there are other countries, of course, we're focused on, and Japan is very important to us and has been for a long time. We've been there since 2000. But we're looking at companies in China that are heavily involved in the growing middle class, things that service the middle class, not so much the export economy. So things like healthcare, financial services, consumer retail, you're seeing a lot of growth there. The entrepreneurial sector in China is growing at a really high rate. Now, the SOE sector is growing at 2 or 3%, if that.
Right.
But the entrepreneurial sector is growing at 15 or 18% per annum. So that's where we really see a lot of opportunity.
Valuations?
Valuations are actually lower in Asia by about 20% for comparable assets to what you see in the United States. So the theory has always been Asia is very expensive. It might seem expensive in certain areas, but generally it's cheaper than the United States right now, which is obviously very expensive. So there's really a bargain here.
There is, and there's less competition, I imagine, as well, right?
Much less competition. And we take Asia as where private equity has a penetration rate of probably 1/6 or 1/7 of what it does in the United States. So there's much less competition. Now, there are a lot of good firms here, but compared to the United States, it's not very competitive.